Good morning, my name is Aminabi from CDTV. Today we are here with Professor Faris.
Hi, good morning Amina.
So today we are going to have a Q&A session about one of the most common mental issue, anxiety. So Professor, what are the 5 most common types of anxiety disorders?
Okay, so the 5 most common types of anxiety disorder are, first one, generalized anxiety disorder, GAD, and then post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, next, panic disorder, and then obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, and lastly, social phobia, or otherwise known as social anxiety disorder.
Oh, really, Professor? So, how are anxiety disorders diagnosed?
Doctors diagnose someone as having anxiety disorder when the symptoms are significantly interfering with the person's ability to function throughout their daily life. Besides that, doctors also make you go through a blood test and also physical and psychological evaluation, because anxiety disorder is not just associated with the mental aspect. You also have to take into account of the physical aspect. So what you put into your body, what you consume, such as caffeine, any medications like ADHD drugs, and so on and so forth, they also affect your level of anxiety.
I see, that's very interesting. So, Professor, what are the risk factors for anxiety disorders?
So I would like to categorize the risk factors for anxiety disorder into 3: the biological, psychological, and social. So I'm going to give you one example for each factors. For biological, an example is your close blood relatives. So if you have siblings or parents who suffer from anxiety disorder, you are more susceptible to develop it too. And next is psychological. An example of psychological is trauma. When a person endured abuse or witnessed traumatic events, they are more prone to develop anxiety disorder, especially if they faced the trauma when they were children. But the disorder doesn't have to develop immediately. It can develop much later in their life. And finally is social. So an example of a social factor is personality. So personality types do matter. For example, there's a personality called type A personality, which is most commonly associated with people who are ambitious but sometimes impatient or aggressive. So researchers has found that these type A personalities are more prone to develop anxiety disorder because of their own extreme and dominant behaviors.
Alright, thank you, Professor. And this is the end of our Q&A session with Professor Faris.
Thank you for having me.
And now we are going to pass it to reporter Kainisha for interviewing the MSUians about anxiety. This is Aminabi. See you again.
Alright, thank you Aminabi. Now, let's interview some MSUians to see how much do they know about anxiety. Let's go! Hi guys, do you have a moment? Can I ask you some few questions? Now, do you know what anxiety is?
Anxiety is a type of mental health condition that, as I know, right?
Yeah, it's just like someone like always like shaking, like wanna cry. It's just type of anxiety, right?
It's one of the symptoms.
Yeah, the symptom.
I think anxiety is like it's a mental disorder for like people that have like social problems, and I think it's a social problem for me.
Anxiety is like a stress symptom and a very dangerous symptom to the patient, and it causes like us to panic out, that kind of thing.
What are the symptoms of anxiety?
You may experience pounding heart, or you sweating suddenly,
like always get tired, feeling weak, and sweating, That's what.
Nervousness control yourself.
Yeah.
I guess.
Talk about that.
That's what I know.
The symptom for anxiety, I think, is the negative thought of themselves or heavy breathing from the social that they have, or they all feel negative about themselves.
Do you know how to prevent it?
How to prevent?
In my opinion, a person with anxiety should seek for professional help and be open. Like find a ways how to prevent anxiety.
I think the best way to prevent it is change your mindset for other people and always think positively when it comes to people.
Last question, who do you think is at risk for anxiety?
Maybe among the students in the university, because they were busy with the work and they were what?
It's more like to a student, maybe they're feeling stressed with assignment, maybe a family issues, thing like that. Yeah.
Alright, thank you so much for your time. Alright, that's all for today. Now, thank you so much, Miss Syrians, for cooperating with me. This is reporter Kainisha signing off from CDTV.